Hello, everybody. Welcome to another NFL Sunday here on Bleacher Report app. This is Bring the Noise. I'm Danny Kleppinger. That's Brad Evans. And we're here with your last second fantasy football start sit advice. Who's a bank pick? Who's a bust pick? And of course, we're going to sprinkle in some props as well. This chat just keeps it rolling. That we're here for you. Ask questions. We've got your answers. We've already got some questions. Brad, to start us off, are you ready to jump right into this? Or do you need to sing your woes from what happened to Illinois yesterday?
No, the pain and misery is going to stick with me for a while, but let's help the people of America with their fantasy football questions.
Well, let's do it. We're taking questions both from the Bleacher Report app and YouTube. On YouTube right now, Jace Burton wants to know if he should start Ricky Pearsall, Jackson Smith, or Ladd today.
I'm still going with Jackson Smith and Jigba. I know he popped up in the injury report about 24 hours ago with an unknown illness, according to Ian Rappaport, but it could be like a Jordan-esque flu game. The guy's seeing 44.2% of the target share. I cannot shy away from him. I already wagered on him as well to have the most receiving yards of the game. I ain't backing down. Give me the product of the Ohio State. And again, I have to say that for copyright purposes.
Yeah, no kidding. The has to be attached to it. That's for sure. We're going to go through every single game on today's slate. But remember, we're going to keep answering your questions. Jesse, do I sit or start Devontae Smith? And should I trade Calvin Ridley?
Yeah, we don't know what options B, C are in regards to Devontae Smith. I would tread very lightly with any vertical weapon of the Philadelphia Eagles, quite frankly, because they're running the ball 60% of the time. And that conservatism, I don't think, is going to shy away today in a difficult matchup as the Rams are numero uno in the NFL and pass EPA defense. So I would maybe debate some alternatives, whatever they are. And then as far as Calvin Ridley goes, I would be trading for him right now, not trading away the Riddler, because I think the better matchups are on the immediate horizon. It starts today. He's a guy that should be, I think, a minimum top 30 wide receiver rest of season.
We're just about an hour away from kickoff. So let's get into some of these games, Brad, starting with Packers and Browns. Packers are actually favored by 7.5 in this one. Cleveland's offense has struggled to get anything going. It's not going to get any easier now that Green Bay's defense has Micah Parsons on board. But what are you looking at in this game?
I love Harold Fanning. I'm going to take the over on 3.5 grabs. I grabbed earlier this week. Heavier juice there to minus 135, but I think he's going to be a top 10 fantasy tight end, to say the least. He's a bit of a, as Billy Raff likes to say, nickel dimer, working in the short field. And Joe Flacco is a savvy veteran at 40 plus years old, always going to be willing to check down to his weapon and give whatever the defense allows. And Fanning's a guy that should be able to clean up. You look at Green Bay, they allowed 6 receptions to Laporta in the opener. They gave up 6 receptions to Zach Ertz last week. So it really doesn't matter what the game script is going to be. And I fully expect the Browns to be playing from behind in this one. I think Harold Fanning Jr. is running around near the 64% of his snaps, catches at least 4 balls, and again, is a firm TE1 in 10-team leagues.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that that's pretty much how this game script's going to go. But that means I'm gonna bust Josh Jacobs today, just because he rushed for 83 yards last week, but he's been under 70 yards in 6 of his last 9 games. And the Browns, got to give credit where credit was due. They held Baltimore's elite rushing attack to just 45 yards on 21 carries last week. So I don't have a whole lot of faith in Josh Jacobs today. If you have another play there, totally might switch him out for someone else, just because the Browns did at least prove their defense against obviously that Ravens attack. Colts, Titans. Colts are favored by 5.5. Colts are 2-0, Brad. That's wild.
It really is. Maybe they come crashing back down to earth. This seems like a bit of a trap game for them. So I'm going to go with a Tennessee Titan. No, I'm not going to go with Tony Pollard. No, I'm not going to go with Cam Ward. And no, I'm not going to go with the Riddler. I'm going to stay in the wide receiver core and go with Alik Iomanor. I finally figured out how to pronounce his last name correctly. The pride of Stanford. Give me the over on 70.5 yards on the longest catch. And I grabbed this at a minus 110 juice there at BetMGM. He's seen a sizable target share at 23.2%. He's already gone over this prop once this season. He's got some flexy, sexy appeal in 14-team and deeper leagues because he's top 15 in area, or it's top 15 and average depth at target. And you look at the Colts, if he gets any piece of Xavier Howard, oh my goodness, for the love of the fantasy gods, a primo matchup, as Howard has allowed the third worst pass coverage grade according to Pro Football Focus on the young year, giving up a 138.8 passer rate in his assignment. So Alik Kyle Manor. If you're not already aware for him, and that's finger pointing at you, shallow leaguers, you're about to be. It could be a breakout performance here for him in week 3.
I think Tyler Warren's going to have a big game as well. He's got 11 catches and 155 yards on 16 targets just through 2 weeks. He's obviously a big target there for Daniel Jones, which leads us to a question from the chat. Danny wants to know, would you start Kyler Murray or Danny Dimes?
It's going to be the Docs in the Desert for me, Kyler Murray. Look, I think Danny Dimes, you're going to see a little bit of regression today. I know Tennessee has been pretty stout in the trenches. On the back end, they're a little bit more vulnerable, but is that duality really going to come into play for Indiana Jones? I think, of course, it's always in play with Kyler Murray. Give me, again, the Dachshund of the Desert out of that double.
We got a lot of questions rolling in, so let's get to some of these. Some of these are coming from the Bleacher Report app. ZZ Huncho, do I start Trey Tucker as my wide receiver too?
No. Are you in a 20-team league? Then go for it. If you're in an 18-teamer, maybe debate it. 16 teams or fewer, that is a firm pass for me.
Okay, wait, there was another Daniel Jones question from Joe Berner, but his was between Daniel Jones or Dak Prescott.
Oh my gosh, you're playing every single Cowboy, every single Bear imaginable. First to 60 points wins along the shores there of Lake Michigan. Dak Prescott, top 5 quarterback this week. Got to play him.
Ooh, love to see that. We got to get to that game here in just a bit. Bengals, Vikings. The Vikings are favored by a field goal, and the battle of the backups, Carson Wentz, Jake Browning. I would just take all your faith. You can call me crazy, Brad, but I would just bust Carson Wentz and TJ Hawkinson in this game. I just feel like Hawkinson's been a complete disappointment so far. He's like a shell of himself before that ACL injury happened. So I'm off on him completely until I see something completely change there. And Carson Wentz is just such an unknown heading into this game. And maybe he will have a rebirth, but I don't have faith in that at the moment until I see it. I would just steer clear. What about you?
I'm going to give this guy one more chance. Biggie, give me one more chance. Jordan Mason, anytime touchdown. If he doesn't get it done for me this week, that is it. That is a wrap. Look, he is going to be the main man. No Aaron Jones out on the injured reserve with that some hamstring injury. Mason's probably going to see upwards of maybe 85, 90% of the opportunity share. A lot of those balls of Billy are likely going to come inside the red zone. Already 3 red zone totes. Yeah, he has not scored a TD yet this season, but he is top 10 yards after contact per attempt. And you look at the Bengals, only number 21 in rush EPAD. Today is the day. Jordan Mason rams one in the end zone.
You scream so loud, your audio cut in and out. That's how passionate you were on that one. Mike Graff wants to know, Love or May to start?
I'm going to go Drake May. Look, Jordan Love, it's not the sexiest matchup there on paper against the Cleveland Browns. The Browns have been rather formidable, as you already mentioned, in the trenches.
Yeah.
They've been pretty decent on the back end as well. And, of course, with no Jaden Reed, Tucker Kraft is going to play, but he is banged up. I'm going to go the opposite way of Love. I just do not trust him there in C-Town today.
We're going to continue to roll through all the games on the slate. We got to get to Steelers Patriots next. This is a close line. Steelers favored by just a point, and both these teams sitting at 1-1. Brad, who are you looking at in this game?
Rah, 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 rah. So you're going to go with, so I had to put that out there. But I'm going to go with the other running back in this game. No, it's not Travion Henderson, though I do have some prompts on him. Check him out at thegamingjuice.com. They're absolutely free. Jaylen Warren, I'm going to take the over on 3.5 receptions. I think he is going to be a PPR dynamo this afternoon. I got that at plus money a couple of days ago there at BetMGM. Aaron Rodgers already came out and said this week, hey, I need to throw the ball more to Jaylen Warren because he's good. He's got tacky and reliable hands, and he certainly does. So I think he's going to be busy in the short to intermediate field. Both these defenses really struggling right now, shockingly so for not the steel curtain, but the soft curtain. So as a result, Jaylen Warren, no matter game flow or script, I think it's going to be a back-end RB2, especially at half point or greater PPR formats.
Well, you already teased mine, but yeah, Ramondre Stevenson, I think he's going to have a big game. I think he's obviously has proven that he is going to be their main back in New England. We just saw the Steelers give up a 100-yard rusher and Kenneth Walker III. Usually they're a team that's really hard to run against, but because I just saw that, I don't think he's going to go that crazy. His rushing props at 44.5. So I don't think he's going to scratch 100 yards, but I do think he'd have a pretty big game. Rams, Eagles are favored by 3.5 in this game. Jalen Hurts, you don't like him. Why? Why are we busting Jalen Hurts today?
Well, the reason being is this. Obviously, there's a lot of upside. Still got him ranked as a QB1 because of his rushing ability. But for those of you that play in pick'em fantasy leagues, for example, or you like the player props market, I'm going to live in the land down under on pass yards. And I grabbed it earlier the week at 199 and a half at a minus 115. Philadelphia, ultra conservative. They run the rock 60% of the time so far on the young year. Jalen Hurts is number 30 in total air yards. Went for a buck 52 and 101 passing yards his first two games, only averaging 22 and a half pass attempts per game. And to look at the Rams, they're number one through a couple of weeks in drop back EPA defense. So not a great matchup. It's going to be more of the brotherly shove today. Again, more of a back end quarterback one than a surefire top 5 quarterback is Jalen Hurts because he's frankly just not throwing the rock.
Yeah, he's not doing it. Okay, well, we got to get some more questions in here. They're from Bleacher Report app and YouTube. We're looking at both. Cash wants to know Quentin Johnson or Wan'Dale Robinson, Keenan Allen, Garrett Wilson. Which two should he start?
I'm going to go with Keenan Allen, and I'm also going to go with, here's a bit of a shocker special, Wan'Dale Robinson. Yeah, even over Garrett Wilson. I don't trust Tyrod Taylor in that matchup, though that secondary of Tampa Bay, wielding a dull sword. But you look at Kansas City, they've been riding the struggle bus on the back end defensively. Russell Wilson, that moon ball could be grazing the stars tonight. That's great news from our league neighbors. And Wan'Dale Robinson, more than just that short field target, we've seen his utilization really creep up and some downfield airstrikes. So I like the upside of him tonight in a game in which the Giants could be playing catch up.
Diego wants to know Mike Evans or Garrett Wilson.
I'm going to go my cousin, Mike Evans. Again, it's a shocker. Downgrade from, shocker. Going from Justin Fields to Tyrod Taylor. I think this is year 99 for Tyrod. He's been in the league for so many years.
Let's not be a hater. That's like right around my age. So can we not?
Hey, listen. I'm old man River here, so don't talk to me about age, DK. But I'm going to go with Mike Evans. I got him for around 70, 75 yards. Good shot to find the end zone as well.
Well, let's talk about that Jets-Bucks game, shall we? The Bucks are favored by 6.5. Obviously, Fields suffered that concussion late against the Bills. Obviously, ruled out in this one. Bucks offense not super loaded at any position, but they do bail out they are loaded, at every position, but it does bail out their defense quite a bit. I'm going to bust Breece Hall in this one. I think I'm impressed by Tampa Bay's run defense. Is that wild?
No, you should be because they have, here he comes. Watch out. The man-eater, Vita Vea. I mean, the guy's a stud. He's a lane clogger. And as a result, Breece Hall is going to have to work outside the tackle box. I mean, he has some upside. Obviously, he's a receiving back, but I think my guy at the running back position is the one that's going to have buku fantasy points, and that is Buck Up. Bucky Irving, if you want to, make a buck or three, I like him in the anytime touchdown market. I'm surprised it's only at a minus 115. You might say, it's even plus money, Evans. What's the point of this? But honestly, I think it's great value. It should be like minus 150 or greater. Irving's got 3 red zone attempts. He has a receiving touchdown. Some of the advanced analytics are rather unsightly over a couple of games, but he's getting 71.9% of the opportunity share. And the Jets, they're a bunch of puddle jumpers on rush defense. Number 29 through 2 games and rush EPA defense. Bucky Irving gonna eat.
Yeah, they allow opposing teams to average 4.4 yards per carry against them. They've really struggled to stop the run. So I like that call a whole lot. Let's get to some more questions here. Hot mic user, start JSM, Emeka or Troy Franklin.
Why are people getting too cute here with JSN? All right. He's not like in a full body cast. He's got an illness. We don't know what it is.
You hear the news, you get worried.
Of course you do. They've been pumping him with fluids and probably like 5-hour energies. Guy's got so many B vitamins coursing through the veins right now. He is going to buck up and play and probably consume a crap ton of vertical opportunity. So stick with JSN.
Okay, well, someone is asking about Evans again, but giving a couple different options here. It's Ryan Beveridge, Golden, McLaurin, or Evans. Are you still sticking with your cousin?
Yeah, I'm still going with my cousin and that triumvirate. Now, I will say this about Matthew Golden. The breakout doesn't occur this week. He's done. He's dead to me,
Okay.
officially. I already bet the over on 2.5 receptions. Got that at plus 100 juice, but the opportunity is so ripe for him, given the increase there in target share. But still, Green Bay does spread the ball around. Mike Evans is your best choice.
Okay, we're going to do some rapid fire here, Brad, and answer some of these questions quickly because we still got a lot of games to get to, and we're 15 minutes into this thing, and we want to get everybody's questions answered. Devontae Smith or Hollywood Brown?
Hollywood Brown.
Sultan Saka wants to know Pollard or James Conner?
That's close. Give me Tony Pollard.
Okay, Braxton Taylor, McLaurin, Harrison Jr., or Johnston in the flex position this week?
Marvin Harrison Jr.
Okay, Nathaniel bench London today to start better matchups for CD, Rome, and Tet.
Okay, CD, Rome, and Tet, and you want to bench Drake London is a 16 fantasy league. I'm still playing Drake London.
Okay, so don't bench him. Okay. Ryan Beveridge, Golden, McLaurin, or Evans. We already caught to that one. JC Burton wants to know Brees or Ladd at his extra flex. It's a PPR league.
It's honestly really close. Normally, I side with the running back in this situation, but give me the McConkey donkey.
All right, let's get to Raiders Commanders. Commanders are favored by 3 in this matchup. And I like Deebo Samuel to score a touchdown in this one. And yes, my bias is completely baked in because he's in my lineup. But you know what? He's been a nice little addition to my flex position, to be honest with you. They've immediately put him to work this year. Ran for a touchdown week 1, caught one in week 2. And you're actually getting like over plus 200 at most books in order to get him to get into the end zone again. Obviously, you've got McLaurin and Ertz both getting targets there, but I still think that he's going to get utilized quite a bit. So I like Deebo Samuel. Brad, what about you?
Man, plus 200. That's some sexy juice on that
plus
prop.
215.
Give me,
yeah,
that's ridiculous. Give me the Eminem, Marcus Mariota, and revenge game of the former Raider. I'm going to take the over on 34.5 rush yards at a minus 110. That duality is the key for Mariota. For those of you that are in super flex leagues or extremely deep single quarterback formats like 18 team or 16 team or greater, I think his guys could be in that QB 15 to QB 20 range. Not a ton of vertical action, around 180 pass yards for the former Duck. So plug your ears here.
No,
DK.
I was literally just about to roast you. I cannot believe the day after the Civil War and the way that my Oregon State Beavers got waxed that you bring up a duck on this program. That actually is irritating.
Well, you should just, bet the over on rush yards, and maybe you're going to fall in love with a quacker. So give me Marcus Mariota as a kind of boom and bank candidate on the show today. Again, he could maybe surprise some people because of that duality.
Couple more questions here. Jalen Hurts or Daniel Jones from J-Rod?
Jalen Hurts or Daniel Jones? I'm still going with Hurts so good.
Okay, hot mic user, Tet McMillan, Deebo, AJ Brown. It's a pick 2 league. I just told you Deebo's going to get in the end zone, so you know where I'm leaning there. What about you?
I am not down with Mr. Brown. I'm sitting AJ until they can prove it to me.
Okay, that makes sense. Rainier wants to know Caleb Williams or Russell Wilson today.
Oh my gosh, not remotely close. Caleb Williams in a romp. I got him at quarterback 5 this week, and that's real, folks.
Well, some people may have been persuaded by that almost near comeback, but Russell Wilson put together last week,
Now, maybe, but you got to maximize a matchup, and the matchup against the Dallas Cowboys is one of the best imaginable. Again, that game, 1st to 60, legitimate. There's going to be no defense played.
Okay, speaking of going to have a great game in matchup base, well, Bijan Robinson is always going to have a good game, but he's going to have an extra good game today against the Falcons, in this Falcons-Panthers game, because Carolina Panthers suck. Like they're just not good. I mean, I don't know how else to put it, but he's coming off a game where he averaged 6.5 yards on 22 carries. I just think that he's going to be utilized in the running game so much so that you found a way to get plus money on it.
Yeah, 90 or more rush yards. I mean, Bijan Robinson is going to deliver on his number 1 overall pick value that you had to spend in your fantasy football draft. I mean, you look at Carolina, sure, they've improved in terms of rush EPA. They're number 21 in the category, but they were dead last year. They're still giving up 5.67 yards per carry through a couple of weeks. Bijan, number 1 in the NFL in missed tackles force with 15, which means he's got the shimmy. He's got the shake, and he is going to bake in the box score. Love me some Bijan across the board, whatever prop it is. And if you have in your fantasy lineup, congrats on the dub.
I agree, because I do also, by the way. So thank you so much. I like to predict the future here for my team this week. Texans, Jags favored by 1.5 as these AFC South rivals go up against one another. You're looking at Travis Hunter.
Yeah, and I'm looking at fading the living daylights out of
Love
them.
that.
Give
A
me the
bust.
under on 18 and a half yards on the longest reception on a minus 115. DK, I don't know if you've come to the realization of how he's being utilized, but all it is in little nibbles, little snack sized chunks. Guys got my lowest yards per target at 3.9 in the NFL, and eight outside the top 70, air yards outside the top 65. He's getting 7 targets per game, which is attractive. This matchup isn't the greatest. And again, he's a guy that may get you like 5 grabs for 40 yards. That is it. I don't think he gets a 19-yard or greater catch, well outside my wide receiver 3 ranks in 12-team leagues this week.
I think if you have CJ Stroud, you shouldn't freak out yet because I do think he's going to get this Houston shipped righted at some point. So I actually bank him in this game. I think he's going to have a big one because he's still throwing for 188 yards and 207 yards in the 2 losses. But I think they need to let him cut loose. I think they need to use his legs, throw the ball, do everything you can. But I do think that he's going to put this team on his back and get them some wins. So I really like CJ Stroud today. Let's look at some more questions here. Harry Potter, very good. Trade Amari and Hampton for Dylan Sampson.
No. What on earth are you talking about? Dylan
Really
Sampson
cool
is clearly the second guy now that Quinshawn Judkins is back. And Amari and Hampton, just chill, man. The yards, the esteemed carries, the goal line opportunities, they're coming. That's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous. You upset him there, Harry Potter. Ryan Lyon, Sam Darnold, or Mac Jones?
Now, this is actually a fair question. I'm going to go with the Mac Daddy. I'll make it jump for all the dad bods that are out there. I love what I saw from Mac Jones last week. It could be more of the same. Could be really close between him and Sam Darnold. Give me Jones.
Okay, Cam Allen, DJ Moore, or Jamison Williams in a flex position?
Start every bear imaginable. Next.
Always. If you guys haven't noticed, he's all about the Bears today. I'm not sure if you've been paying attention.
And Cowboys.
Both. You just think lots of scoring. Cy Greg wants to know Brian Thomas or Jacoby Myers.
I know Brian Thomas, managers out there are extremely frustrated, but I am going to ride him. And again, give him one more chance.
Oh, another Jacoby Myers question from Preston. Marvin Harrison, Egbuka, or Jacoby Myers?
Now, in that triumvirate, I actually go Jacoby Myers. I think he's got a really good shot, 5-6 receptions, around 60, 65 yards, a long shot and a touchdown. But if you get that level of production, decent floor.
All right, let's get to Broncos Chargers in this AFC West battle. The Chargers are favored by 3, and you like Justin Herbert and Bo Nix.
Both to use their legs. They got legs. They know how to use them. 50-plus rushing yards. I put those hands together at SGP. It's at plus 112, believe it or not. Herbert said earlier this summer he was going to utilize his legs a little bit more, and he's definitely delivering on that promise. A guy that's gone over 30 yards in back-to-back games. He's facing one of the most aggressive and assertive pass rushing attacks in the NFL. Number 5 and pocket pressure rate is the Denver Broncos. Chargers not cranking up the pocket pressure as much, but Nix has gone 18, 20 yards on the ground. So both those bottom lines got to be boosted with the rushing production, Herbert and Nix in this game.
What if you had Herbert or Hurts to decide between? That's what B-Trap is looking at today.
I still go Hurts because of the rushing touchdown potential.
Okay. I know Quentin Johnston's had a pretty hot streak, but the matchups in this one today, I don't like it. I think the Chargers are going to shy away from the perimeter a bit. So I actually don't think Johnston's going to have a huge game just because of matchup base in this one. Do you think I'm crazy or you still like Johnston?
No, I think that's a great call. I mean, you got Patrick Surtain. For the love of God, he's the best cover corner in the NFL. And if he is blanketing Quentin Johnson, it's going to limit a lot of those explosive pass plays, which really, makes the hay for one Quentin Johnson. This could be more of a tight end game, like a Tyler Conklin, for example, the LA Chargers.
Out of the perimeter. Yeah, that's how I feel.
Or Lamb McConkey across the middle, Keenan Allen as well. Those guys will do the dirty work.
Saints Seahawks. Seahawks are favored by 7 in this one. Saints are 0-2 on the season so far, looking to change that, obviously. But Jackson Smith and Jigba, I do think he's going to have a big game. I think over 74.5 receiving yards for him. He easily has cashed the over in both his games so far. And obviously the Saints secondary has looked okay, but I just think he's too big of a weapon for them. So I think he's going to have a really big game for Seattle to move to 2-1 on the season. What about you?
I'm going to fly the fleur-de-lis, DK, for all the Sazeracs. Give me the over on 4.5 receptions on Jawan Johnson. They really beep, 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 backed up the truck. Some of that massive extension in the offseason. People like, they're paying Jawan Johnson that much money? Why? Well, they're finally using him. And Spencer Rattler absolutely loves the guy. He's averaging 10 targets per game of the young year, running around on 36.5 times per game. He's way up there in air yards. He's actually number one among tight ends. And you look at Seattle, they've given up 8 catches to San Francisco tight ends, 8 catches as well to Pittsburgh tight ends. Could be another snowman in Alda Johnson. I think he's a firm TE1, even in 8-team fantasy leagues.
Well, we are coming up on 30 minutes away from kickoff here. So let's take some more questions. We still got 4 more games to get to on the rundown. Cam Allen wants to know DJ Moore, Jamison Williams, and Flex.
Or who you starting? Every stinking bear.
There you go. Matty Ice, full PPR league. Hunter Henry or Harold Fannin?
Harold Fannin, sticking to my guns.
Hot Mike wants to know Jerry Jeudy or Ao Manor. You already talked about him. Or Rashid Shaheed in a flex position.
All right, I'm going to go with the deep ball specialist, Ao Manor. I think he could have breakout.
K Drizzy, Wandale, McConkey, or Tet. Need to choose 2.
I'm going to go McConkey and Tet McMillan, please.
Jacob wants to know Travis Etienne or Javonte Williams.
Oh my gosh, Juggernaut Javonte! He scored at least once, maybe 10 times today.
You know, there's not as many quarterback questions as I was expecting here today. I'm sort of surprised. Okay, here's one from Anonymous. Kyler Murray or CJ Stroud?
Dude, really? Kyler Murray.
Yeah, I don't know. Did I just say that CJ might have a big game?
You did, but the Docs of the Desert is, again.
If you had to choose between the two, though, because I'm with you, I think Kyler Murray is also going to have a really big game. We haven't gotten there yet. But.
Yes.
Mike wants to know Laporta or Ferguson?
Sam Laporta.
Okay. And Schmid, Penix, Rodgers or Browning? Wow.
Okay, there is a legit quarterback question. Rodgers off the list. Penix, no. Jake Browning, man, he's a gunslinger. Even if he piles up the INTs, he's just going to continue to chuck the rock to, I don't know, the best receiver in the game.
Keep your questions coming in. We still have 4 more games to get to. Kickoff is just about 30 minutes away. So keep those questions coming in on both the Bleacher Report app and on YouTube. Cardinals, Niners. Niners are favored by 1.5. Arizona swept the Niners last season. But Mac Jones, carried that offense for San Francisco. 279 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Pretty impressive from him. And you like the CMC factory today.
I do, and especially as a receiver. I mean, he is just being driven in the ground in that capacity. Remember, no Jawan Jennings. He's officially been ruled out. That's going to spike the target share yet again. This could be a 7, 8, 9 catch kind of game. I don't think it's outlandish to say for the CMC Football Factory, who's not going to make me sweat. My baby. I'm taking the over 36.5 receiving yards. Could be 50 at a minimum through the air.
See, I really like Kyler Murray as well. So earlier when whoever asked that question between Kyler Murray and CJ Stroud, that's a tough one for me because Kyler Murray combined for over 250 yards rushing and receiving in both meetings against the Niners last year. 278 in San Francisco and then 264 at home. I just think he's going to have another huge game. I would take all of his rushing props, his rushing plus receiving props, make some SGPs. I think he has a huge, huge game. Now, we've been talking and teasing this Bears Cowboys matchup all day. You think lights out offense all over the field?
I'm playing everybody, and that's not an exaggeration. Look, I think Caleb Williams is going to ball a lot. He's a top 5 fantasy quarterback. I think Dak Prescott's going to be a top 5 fantasy quarterback. Roma Dunze is going to be a top 10 wide receiver. DJ Moore is going to be a top 20 wide receiver. But the guy is really going to set the pace across the board in scoring is CeeDee Lamb. He's going to go absolutely off. The Bears stink. They suck. They are gummified right now on the back end defensively. Gets any piece of Tyreek Stevenson, he's going just absolutely nuts. Why Tyreek Stevenson has allowed a 158.3 passer rating, checks notes. That's a perfect passer rating, folks. CeeDee Lamb has gone for 100 yards his first 2 games. Could be a $150 today. I'm laddering him. I took the over on 83.5 receiving yards on the standard line, bumped it to 90 plus, bumped it to 100 plus, took it for an anytime touchdown early in the week at plus money. CeeDee Lamb might challenge NFL records. That's how lousy the Bears are on pass defense.
Wow. All right, let's get to some more questions here. Hot Mike wants to know Emeka or JMC?
I'm gonna go with Bill Jackson or Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt, JCM.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say that didn't sound right. I asked it with a question as I'm reading it. Jamison Williams or Debo Samuel at flex position for Bia?
It's close, but I agree with your assessment on Debo. Right about him this week at thegamingjuice.com on my fantasy flames column, fully knowing that Marcus Mariota is likely going to be under center. I think he scores today.
DJ wants to know about DK at Metcalf, Pickens, or Debo at PPR.
Now, okay, I did say you should probably start everybody in that Bears and Cowboys game, but this is where the rubber hits the road. DK Metcalf has got to be my lineup. Really great shot, 75 plus yards and a touchdown today.
Chiefs Giants game. Let's get there, Brad. We got two more games to get to here as we're 30 minutes exactly from kickoff. Chiefs are favored by 6 with two teams that are in desperation mode at this point. All you Swifties out there, I got your back. I think Travis Kelce's going to have a big game here because the Giants defense allowed 81 yards to tight ends against the Cowboys last week, 26 yards to tight ends in week 1 against the Commanders, but that doesn't deter me from going with Travis Kelce in this one. He's put up 47 yards of receiving in week 1, 61 in week 2. I think that this number is more than accomplishable, doable, however you want to say it. So if you're a Swiftie fan, you're welcome. Go with your man.
Yep, good call. And if you like booty scoots, I'm going to go with Patrick Mahomes, the leading rusher, believe it or not, of the Kansas City Chiefs. It's not Isaiah Pacheco. It's not the Ham and Egger that is Kareem Hunt. It's Mahomes. I mean, he has been opportunistic by definition, reading, reacting, and just running, taking off. I'll take the over on his rush yards again. I grabbed earlier the week at 29.5. I played this sucker up to like maybe 39.5. Hell, DK, I think Patrick Mahomes is going to lead the game, regardless who's tote the rock on the Giants side or the Chiefs side in rush yards. It's plus 450. The whole game plus 450 for him to lead, no matter the position, no matter the team. This matchup tonight, guy has been running with his hair on fire. He thinks he's like Michael Vick, the Madden video game version of yesteryear. It's crazy.
I also just think that he's going to do everything he can to get this team a win. I think the idea of sitting 0-3 cannot sit well with any team, but let alone someone as competitive as Patrick Mahomes. That's all the Sunday slate that we got for you, ladies and gentlemen. We got to get to Ravens Lions. It's our last game to talk about here. What do you think, Brad?
Rashad Bateman, I know he's been a colossal bust through 2 games, only 4 catches for 25 yards, but this is the mother of all matchups. Slated to face a lot of Terry and Arnold in that defensive backfield, Detroit. Arnold has allowed the most yards of any defensive back in the National Football League through 2 weeks. So I'm taking the over on, I grabbed at 34.5 receiving yards. Last I checked this morning at BetMGM is at 37.5. I think it's going to be 3 catches, greater than 60 yards. One of those will go for a touchdown. So if you're looking for a sneaky good source in fantasy at your flex or WR3 position in deeper and challenging formats, look no further than the Bateman.
I know this matchup is good here, but I like Zay Flowers to get into the end zone. So give me an anytime TD for him as well. I think he's finally becoming a featured part of this Ravens attack. So really like Zay Flowers today. We went through every single game. Remember, we're doing this every single weekend. Now let's get to these last little few questions so you guys can get these, your lineups completely set. Mike wants to know, flex James Conner or Marvin Harrison?
I'll go with the Terminator there. Give me Conner.
Larry wants to know Danny Dimes or Bo Nix?
Bo Nix.
Emmy, LA, Judkins, or Franklin?
I'll go Quinshon Judkins.
We got POPs, Pollard or Swift?
Pollard or Swift? DeAndre Swift is banged up. We'll see if he can survive 4 quarters, which means Tony Pollard.
Dummy wants to know Williams or Pollard?
Is this Jameson? There's a lot of Williams.
Javonte, actually. It's Javonte Williams. I'm so sorry.
Oh my God. Yeah, stop right there. Yummy and Juggernaut Javonte.
Took me a second too. I'm so sorry, everybody. A couple more questions here before we get you on your way. S101, who should I start? Diggs, Wanda, Robinson, or Chubb? Please pick one.
I'm going to go Wandale Robinson, though. The Chubb Club is open for business yet again. Great to see.
Okay, and it's all of a sudden getting weird here on this Sunday. Okay, one, pick two, Hollywood, Brown Ridley, or Bill PPR.
In a PPR, you got to go with Hollywood Brown. Extraordinarily high floor with no Xavier Worthy.
Uh, Schmid wants to know Stafford, Penix, or Love.
Stafford, Penix, maybe. Love. Give me Penix.
I loved your deductions there. That worked out well. All right, we'll take one more here. It's from Hot Mike yet again. Thoughts on Hampton? Bench him until he's proving that he's worth starting.
It depends what your alternatives are. Look, I think Omarion Hampton's going to get around 15 or so touches today. The breakout is coming. The Broncos, though, are incredibly stiff and stout defensively, as we know. Play the patience game. Cue Axl Rose and Guns N' Roses there in the background. All we need is just a little patience. That's what you got to exercise with Omarion Hampton, but it depends upon what options B, C, D, E, F, and G are on this Sunday.
All righty, guys, that was fun. Thanks so much for your questions. Remember, we're here every single Sunday, an hour before kickoff. Make sure you're here with your questions, listening to grab some props as well, because Brad and I are degenerates and we like to gamble as well. So we like to mix the fantasy football with the gambling here once in a while as well. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. Enjoy football. Brad, good to see you. See you next week.
Adios, amigos.